Hey y'all, you're just in time to watch me eat. This is the first time I've ate today, and well, I don't know what time it is. It's well into the afternoon. The shadows are getting a little bit long out there. But, I went in the laundry room and managed to clear out a couple of real small spaces where we can stack up some stuff in there because this weekend, this Saturday, this friend of my husband has lots of friends. Well, a friend of his lives in Odessa. Her name's Emelisa. And he met her many years ago when he first got out of the pen. And he was working at Denny's restaurant, and he had to walk several miles back and forth to where he was renting this little bitty old travel trailer to live in. Bless his heart, when I saw what he was living in, I cried. When we went to Odessa to get some stuff that he still had in that camper, and, he went to the main house and said goodbye to the landlady and let her know he was moving out. When I saw that little bitty trailer he had been living in, that crowded little thing, I cried. See, when me and Paul first got together, it wasn't no time at all. I already knew. I knew I loved him. It wasn't within a few days. I knew I loved him. And that's a story that'll take a whole video to tell about how me and Paul met and what all happened and whatnot. But what does that have to do with anything? I don't know. How did I get on the subject talking about Odessa? Oh, yeah, Emelisa. She's an old Mexican lady. And she had stopped and given Paul a ride when she saw him working. Because he'd be walking, wearing his Denny's uniform, going to work. And of course, she said, well, that's a guy going to work. So she'd stop and give him rides. And they became friends. Of course, Paul becomes friends with almost everybody he meets. And I've met her, been to her house a couple of times. Real nice lady. But her health is real bad. And she's clearing out stuff from her house. So she's coming here this Saturday with some guy, one of her kinfolks. I forget what Paul said. It's her grandson or her son or who it is, but they're coming Saturday. So we got to try to clean this house up. It's a pigsty. And she said she's bringing me a bunch of her sewing material and stuff like that because she can't sew anymore. And there's no telling what all. I have no idea. But, I'll be doing that same thing too. I mean, unless if I die suddenly, I can't. But if something happens to me, Kelly Jane, of course Paul's going to keep what he wants of my stuff because he's my husband. But after that, y'all, you and the girls come here and you have all you want of mine, all my sewing material, my yarn, and craft supplies, everything in between. I've got enough stuff. It's like a small craft store. I mean, I've got a bunch of stuff for resin. Like if you ever want to do resin projects, you know, where you mix and pour the resin. I've got molds. I've got a whole container full of molds, and I've got some more of them somewhere. And I've got mica powders that you color it with. I've got sparkles and glitters and all kinds of stuff you can use with that resin, epoxy resin. I want to do some more of it one of these days, a little bit of it. I ain't going to bother making stuff I don't really like just to hope to sell it, because you end up stuck with a ton of stuff I can't sell. And you know, all that expensive epoxy resin was used on that, and I can't get my money back out of it because it won't sell. But I need to get that. I know I need to get that Christmas tree sewed up, and I need to make some more pillowcases. I love these homemade pillowcases. I just love them. I like them lined, so you've got enough thickness there. If you have 2 layers of pillowcase on around your pillow, that keeps your pillow from getting stinky so quick. Now, for the longest, for years and years and years, what I've done is I've put 2 pillowcases on a pillow for that reason. But this way, when I make them and I sew them together, it's just like putting 1 pillowcase on there, but you've got the 2 thicknesses, and they're nice. They're nice. I like them, and they're nice. They're luxurious. I need to get in there and get it done. Today, I've been doing laundry. I took the sheets and blankets off my bed, sheets off of Paul's bed, so I'm washing all our bed sheets as they need it. And I'm going to have to take a shower sometime this evening. I've got to. I'm so grody right now, I can hardly stand it. I get discouraged because the one thing is so extremely hot. I mean, when I bother to bathe, you're just going to keep sweating. And then, plus I get so tired, it wears me out. Bathing wears me out. It's a lot of work. Because I don't just get in there and slop around a little bit and get out. I have to scrub. Especially with having this psoriasis, I have to scrub. And then washing my hair. Getting it rinsed out good. I rinse it out real good. It's just a lot of work. And then get out and try to get dried off, and you just keep on working. You know, just work. And then get dressed and whatnot. It used to be no big deal at all. I mean, you tell me what's the big deal about taking a shower? But when you get older, everything's harder. It wears you out. That's why a lot of older people you see, you might come around, you know, be around old people in the stores or somewhere in town in public. And they kind of stink, ooh, why don't they bathe these? Well, it's because they're old and tired, and they're stiff and feeble, and they don't feel like messing with it. I know it's awful, but I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be tired today after doing the laundry. Fiddling around in the laundry room, trying to make space. Putting the laundry up, making the beds back up. I fed the cats. Petted the ones that would let me. Fed the dogs. Let's see, I guess that's about all I've done so far today. Oh, I had to go outside and pick up that dead cat. There was a cat that got run over out here. It was that soft-colored orange cat. It's the same color as Tortoise's little son. Little bitty kitten that's so skinny. They look so much alike. I wonder. I suspect that was his daddy. And I saw him just yesterday evening when it was still light outside. I sat out there a few minutes talking to the cats. They like it when I talk to them because they know I love them. Go out there and feed them, water them, and talk to them and stuff. And even the ones that ain't tame at all, they like it. They'll hang around a little further away, but they hang around and they like it. And I talked to him. He had that pretty soft color in it, soft colored eyes, like pastel greenish yellow eyes, just soft colored. Well, I went out there to pick him up. Of course, I took a plastic bag. Poor thing. I didn't examine him for the damage. I didn't want to see all the damage, but I noticed. I couldn't help but notice, I bent down to pick him up. One of his eyes bulging out, and I was like, oh God, oh God, oh God. He ran over his head. So I put him out in the dumpster. Poor thing. God help them all. God help them. It sucks when that stuff happens. I'm so sick of bad things happening. I'm so sick of it. Seems like the people that don't deserve it, and of course the animals that don't deserve bad things to happen to them are the ones that most of the bad stuff happens to. Just really am tired of all the bad stuff happens. Can't help it. If you have a heart, then you know what I'm talking about. Your heart gets broke. And it gets broke a billion times, a zillion times, gazillion times over the years. As long as you live in this world, your heart's going to keep getting broke over all the horrible things that happen. And you can't help it. You have a heart because God gave you one. So there it is. You can't not care. If you didn't care, things like that didn't bother you, then you might be a psychopath. That'd be about the only way you'd not care. But it gets old, man. The other thing about, we get tired of the heartaches. It's just really hard to keep going and going and going and going. Years and years and years through life. And it's just heartaches and heartaches, and you get tired of it. You get tired of it. Yeah, that's one reason why. Like for example, an old couple. One of them dies, well, it ain't long till the other one dies. It's because they're tired of everything anyway. And when they lose their spouse, like, you know what? There ain't no reason why I want to keep on. I don't even want to be here anymore. So they die. It just, there's only so much the heart can take. Put it that way. But anyway, I let the hose run a little out there under that front tree. I don't water the trees nowhere near as much as they need because I try to keep that water bill down, but I'm trying to keep them from dying. There ain't no rain in our forecast. I mean, it could be raining in every spot, every square inch of the entire earth. It could be raining, just pouring on down. It could be pouring on down all around the outskirts of this town, but it would be sunny and dry right here in town. It just won't hardly rain here in town. Barely ever rains on the outskirts, really. And for some reason, this area of West Texas, you just can't hardly get rain for nothing. But especially right here in town. Right here in town. Makes no sense. If I was a billionaire, I'd hire detectives to find out if there's any kind of weather modification going on, and then hire highfalutin lawyers to try to put a stop to it. So if there's some kind of stuff, some way that they're able to block the rain on this town, I'd make them stop it. But I've always heard for many years that it's got something to do with a pecan tree farm out of town. You go west out of town here. I don't know how many miles, but it's on out there a ways. There's a big pecan tree farm. And they do something to break up the clouds or something. They have a way at making it go around town, and what it has to do, I'm not sure what it has to do with them dang farms, but they, for some reason, they do something. That's what I've heard. Something needs to be done about it. It's BS to the max. Now, if there's something like that going on, it's just total BS. Because we should have had a lot of good rain showers here over the last few years. We've been in drought for a long time, for years and years and years now. It's still raining everywhere else, but right here, we're still in drought. I mean, it's like it's turning into the Sahara Desert. It makes no sense. drive out of town. Oh, look how green that is. Or, oh, yeah, they've been getting rain. You look over your shoulder back at Fort Stockton, hey, and look how dry and dead everything is. Shit. It's like, what's going on? Makes no sense. It's stupid. But anyway, I gotta eat these beans. See what else I might can do. Well, here in a little bit I got to go get those things out of the dryer and put them on the beds. I washed, it was such a big load, I washed the load, and now I'm drying half of it at a time in the dryer, get them done. You know what takes up a whole big old bunch of space in my bedroom? Is that big old dining table I got in there. But I use that for sewing and crafts, and I gotta have it in there, and boy, it's handy. It's the handiest thing. It was real nice. Red and Delma give me that table. They got them some kind of a new table. I don't remember. I don't know if I even saw it. Some kind of a different table. They gave me that one. That table is many, many decades old. They used it for ages. It's been in their family, and I don't know. I don't remember what all she told me. She's telling me the history of that table, and it goes way back. Real well made, still standing up. Nice, big old nice top. I try not to, be careful not to ruin that top. I don't want to ruin it. But you know, most of the stuff I've got hoarded up is related. It's related to sewing and crochet, or crafts, paint stuff. This corner of the living room over here is glommed up with paint stuff. Those shelves over there are full of stuff that's related to the epoxy resin. Here, let me see if I can get this where you can see it. Epoxy resin, you see them, you see them, that bookcase thingy there? I need to get all that stuff out of there and put it in one of them big plastic bins. But then where am I going to put that? God, I don't know. Well, we've run out of room to even stack things up. And I've got bins full of Barbie stuff that I've collected, Barbie furniture that I made, all kinds of little doodads. Some Afghans that I crocheted. there are tons of stuff. But anyway, I get overwhelmed. I look around at all this stuff, and the house is all dusty, dirty, and cluttered up, and I just get overwhelmed and frustrated. And I've got gobs of embroidery patterns and embroidery material, embroidery thread, stuff related to embroidery. A little small gob of that. Papers, reams of paper that I've gotten at garage sales because it was cheap. And various kinds of paper and stationery, envelopes. I have some greeting cards. Gobs of crochet books. I got rid of a ton of crochet books. 2-3 years ago, I got rid of a ton of them. I went through them all, and I still have a gob of them. Woo! Tons of crochet magazines. I donated to the library for them to give away. Took all them up there to the library, and so I already downsized on that, and I have a bunch of dresses that I've made over the years I don't want to get rid of. My long, pretty dresses. I don't want to get rid of them. I like them. I made them. I took the time and trouble to make them. Long, pretty dresses. I have plenty of clothes. I don't need no more clothes. And of course, it's hard not to buy new dresses from Temu. They have good prices and real pretty dresses. Got a lot of good stuff. I bought a couple of sport bras from Temu recently, and I like them real well. They actually support. One of them, the cups are a little too small. I'll wear it, but in order to get it small enough around my rib cage, they don't make them. They don't make big cups with a small small rib cage measurement. They don't. They make everything too uniform, like. They just don't consider that some women have gigantic boobs. There's lots of women all over the world that have gigantic boobs. They need to start taking that into consideration and start making bras and making them widely available for women who they're there, kind of narrow in the rib cage, but they need the gigantic cups. They need to just get on the ball with that. If I was the Queen of the United States, there never would have been a problem with that. I'd solve that problem. It's like if you trying to buy a pair of shoes in a size 10 and a half, you can't hardly find a pair of shoes in a size 10 and a half for women anywhere. I mean, anywhere. And that's stupid. Because if I wear an size 11 shoe, they fit okay, all right, got all that toe room and all that, but then my heels slip up and down because they're just a little bit too long. So, if I had a 10 and a half, it'd fit perfect. But of course, nobody's got enough sense to have shoes that size. So, get a size 11 shoe in women's, and they're too big. They're always a little too big. My feet slop around in them a little bit. I hate that. And my left foot is a little bit smaller than my right foot. So there you go. But I have found that if I buy men's shoes, they fit a lot better. I don't know what they're doing different with men's shoes than women's, and it's not the width, because I don't have wide feet. My feet are a little bit narrow. I've always had kind of narrow feet. It's not the width, it's something else in the way they're made. Temu has gobs of everything, man. I'm addicted to Temu. But anyway, I just wanted to say hi to y'all and let you know what's going on, what's the latest. My husband went to work early and got home early, and he went to visit friends. He's always going places because he's just that way. He likes to go out and visit and stuff. He gets restless. He's hyperactive to start with, and then he's a people person, big time. So when he's not at work, a lot of times he'll just go visit, keep in contact with his friends. I got my candles all made, finished. Here's this one, that one. They look crooked, but they'll be straight when one of these days when I get them anchored down somewhere. I gotta find stuff put inside of them to they'll hold their shape and all that. Anyway, I guess that's about it for now. I'm gonna look around and see if there's any way I could straighten up any more stuff. I doubt it. You need a whole bunch of bins and just pile everything in the bins and stack them all up somewhere. Okay. Well, that's all for now. And did I tell you I saw Tortoise's little kitty cat son out there? He came out there. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. So I was glad to see him. I know he ain't dead. He's all right. And he's looking a little bit better. He's still real skinny, but he's looking a little bit better. I've been making sure he gets plenty to eat. And last 2 days what I did is I took a little small bowl for him and I put a little bit of milk in it and a spoon of yogurt, mixed that up real good, and then mixed some cat food in around with that. That yogurt's good for them. It's good for cats and dogs. They need that good healthy gut stuff like we do too. So if your animal's sick, give them some yogurt. It helps soothe their stomach. It helps them keep food and water down. Me and my husband, we saved a dog's life like that one time. That dog was on his deathbed with distemper or parvo or something like that. He was just skin and bones dying. He couldn't keep one drink of water down. We shoveled some spoons of yogurt in his mouth and he swallowed that down. He kept it down, didn't throw it up. And right after immediately after getting that yogurt on his stomach, he drank some water and kept it down. And so, he did all right. And then the next day, we went out there and there he was, just walking around and just fine and dandy. And he gained weight back again real quick and it was all right. Thank God. But you can take them to the vet if you think they have distemper or something. And they'll put tubes in their arm, they'll stick needles in their arms with tubes down their throats and do all this and that, have them laid up in there in the clinic for days on end and saying, we're treating them, we hope they'll survive. When all you got to do is give them yogurt. There's all that expense of the vet and all that. But shoot, if you can save your life with yogurt, there you go. Much better and easier on them than them going through all that doctor stuff at the clinic, But, yeah. Mila's so cute. I've never seen a dog built quite like her before. The way her back has a dip in it. So it being pretty much, a little slight curve. It has a noticeable dip in the middle of her back, and her rump goes up. Her big old rump. Big old cute rump. And Lily, her hair's grown out. She needs a haircut bad, and she needs it back. I let them out this morning to do their thing. Lily came back in the house and she was filthy, like she had rolled out there. Oh, filthy. And there ain't hardly any grass. It's just dry, filthy dirt with old dried up dog shit and out there. And, yeah. Ugh. Anyway, she is going to sleep in here in the living room. Her and Mila both. They're going to have to sleep in here in the living room tonight because I'm going to have clean sheets and blankets on my bed. So, until we can get them bathed, look at that girl, look at her eyes. Look at those eyes. She's got those eyes. She's got those eyes. I was just talking about your eyes, little girl. Yeah, she's still mean to Lily sometimes. She still jumps on her. Silly thing. One of these days, Lily will get tired of it, and she'll jump back. I'm getting tired. I can feel myself winding down. I've done more than usual today. I can feel the tiredness coming on. I don't know how I'm going to have the energy to bathe. I'm going to have to. I mean, it don't take much before my energy's used up and it's gone for the day. It's so frustrating. I mean, for a little while, I'll feel pretty good. I'll feel almost normal. Get around, do a little this and that, and then I need to sit down for a while. And then next thing you know, I can just feel it. The very moment that tiredness starts coming on, it's like, here it comes. And I could rest. I could go lay down on the bed right now and I could rest for 3 or 4 hours and then get up and I'd still be tired. Well, having a kidney disease, they say, is part of it. And part of it is the psoriasis. They say it makes you have fatigue too. And then getting kind of old now. There's that, the wear and tear. Makes it hard. I need some help. I need help with the house cleaning and stuff around here. I really do, but it's hard to find good help. It's really hard. People, they want you to pay them a lot, and then they just want to breeze through and get through real quick. And they don't do much. They'll do the floors, you know. They might clean the bathrooms good. Or they might just rush through and leave them half dirty. How you gonna find good help? I don't know. I mean, people get them dollar signs in their eyes. And they say, well, I gotta have at least 50, 60, 80 bucks, you know. It's outrageous. When I was young, I cleaned houses for people. I made about $20 for the whole house, clean the whole house. Floors, bathrooms, kitchen, living dust, everything. Teared out all the trashes, I mean everything. I mean, you look around, if you see any dust, you see anything out of place, you gotta go take care of that. You make it look like, hey, this house is clean. That's what you do. Any kind of job you have, you do your best. That's how I was raised. That's how my dad taught me. That's how he did. But nowadays, how many people, younger people, have that kind of a work ethic? It's hard to find anybody now that's got a good work ethic. And it's not a matter of I would want to pay them cheap. It's a matter of we'll pay them a decent wage, but they need to do us a fair job. How you gonna find somebody like that? I'd be tired and sweaty and filthy and wore out by the time I got done cleaning people's houses. Or any other job that I had. Working in the motels, restaurants, didn't matter. They just busted my rear. Did the best I could. It's really frustrating. I don't like having a dustiness all over this house. It's so dusty, and it gets dusty real quick. Because it don't ever rain. And we have this powdery dirt out here, this powdery caliche type dirt, desert dirt. It's like fine powder, bath talcum powder. It blows everywhere all the time. Gets tracked in on her shoes like crazy. You can't stop it. it looks cluttered up in here with all my yarn and this bookcases. It makes it look all cluttered up in here. And I put that cloth over it not too long ago for a few days. Well, I'll make it look better in here. But it was, whenever I wanted to get a certain color of yarn out of there, I'd have to move that cloth out of the way to try to dig through. And that got old, and plus I got tired of not being able to look at my yarn. I'm such a yarn and crochet addict, you know. Most of my life, well, since I was 12 years old, I've been crocheting and looking at yarn and crochet books and whatnot, so I'm brainwashed in it, I guess you can say. But anyway, our plants, those ivy plants that I bought us from the grocery store that time. Well, I bought them from Walmart. That's where I got them. And we split that one pot up into 2 pots. They're doing good. But the vines are starting to get long, and I need something for them to grow on. So I don't know what to do about that. Thought about, putting hooks in the walls and then get some twine or something like that and tie on them hooks and run it down to the pot and maybe let the things grow up like that. I can't do too much of stuff like that, poking holes in the walls, because we don't own this house. We're renting it. If I owned my own house, I'd end up with nails in the walls. Wherever there were studs, there'd be nails all over the place, hanging all kinds of stuff up. But the easiest way to find something, if you walk around and you've got something hanging on the wall, there it is. There it is, just grab it. Instead of having it piled somewhere. But anyway. I remember Granny and Grandpa's old house. Back in them days, when people needed to hang something somewhere, they just get a nail and hammer it right in the wall. They didn't worry about it. Oh, that'll bring the value down. Nah, they didn't worry about that stuff. People lived their lives and did what they wanted to do in their house. I know the dogs are bored. They don't have nothing to do but just hang around and nap and sleep all day and bark out the window now and then, and that's it. I know they're bored. But one of these days, if we ever get any cool enough weather, I'll take them down to the cemetery, or me and Paul take them to the dog park. But if nothing else, I'll take them out to the East End Cemetery. It's out off the edge of town, back over here, like if you go southeast. It's the southeast corner of town out there. You can see it from the highway. Like if you're on the interstate driving through town, you can tell where the cemetery is. You can see where all those tall, skinny cypress trees, I got bunches of them, tons of them out there at East End Cemetery. I like them trees, they're neat. They go way, 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 way on up there. I think they're neat. I've always liked them. They originated from the Middle East over there, around Greece and the Holy Land and around there. Greece, Italy, All them places around there, that's where they originated from. They was brought over here on ships from over there. They didn't originate here in America. That's interesting, ain't it? Stuff like that to me is interesting. I like them. And those Lombardy poplar trees, they're real popular over there in Italy, around there. My dad liked them Lombardy poplars. He planted a row of them on the west edge of our yard because they grew up tall, and he planted a row of them where they'd block that western sun in the evening. A row of them, that's pretty. They have a lifespan and they do die after a while. But they lasted for a long time, long time. Might still be some alive out there, I don't know. I have no idea. It's been several years since I've been out there. The last time I was out there wasn't too awful long after Dad passed away. And I don't know why we went there. Went there to visit, I guess, just to visit. And at that time, my brother's daughter and her new husband moved in there, and Dad's old house was living there, and they already had a little baby girl. That house was real old. Even back then, it was already rotted. The main beam under the floors that ran down under the length of the house, it was rotted. And it was just, the floors, they slanted inwards, like that, towards the middle of the house, all the way down the length of the house. The floors had rotted and sinking down, and the eaves were rotted out, and you could see the termite damage. That's probably why that floor was rotted, the termites. But that house was built in the 1940s. It lasted a long time. 1940s, let's see. So about 2020. It was around 2020, I think. Somewhere in that neighborhood, when my brothers tore that house down, it's rotted. They just tore it all down, had it hauled off. So let's say 1942, 40 to 2020, about 60. It's closer, maybe right at around 80 years old in that neighborhood, 80-year-old house. I think it would have lasted longer if it hadn't been for the termites. I think that's what really done it in. I really do. I think that's what done that house in. Because it was built sturdy, built to last, as houses were many years ago. My dad practically grew up in that house. From the time he was a little boy. From the time he was a little boy. Dad passed on when he was 78. So, that house was at least 80 years old, if not older than that. Well, it might have still been, it might have been around. I don't know, it might have been built before then. I think Dad was born around 1934, 36, something like that. And he was a little bitty boy when Granny divorced Grandpa Joyner, and she remarried. She married Lonnie Freeman, and they moved into that house. And he bought that house there in Imperial, Texas. And that was one of several other houses just like it that had been built. It was out there. They were rented out to oil field workers. Those were lease houses, they called them. And they rented them out to oil field workers and their families. And so that was, let's see. Yeah, the house had to have been built. It had to have been built around 1940, just before 1940, but I wouldn't say any later than that. It had the asbestos shingles on it. And it had linoleum, the old linoleum on the floors in the kitchen. It did. Kitchen and bathroom. The rest of the house was just wood floors. Old-fashioned wood floors. And the outside walls, instead of putting sheets of plywood on them, they used wide plank boards, and they cut them to fit where they were diagonal across on the walls, on the outside of the walls. That's how they did it, and that made it sturdier. It made the walls sturdier. Everything was done sturdy. And the nails they used were better nails than the ones that are in those nail guns they use in modern times, nail guns. And the nails were a little bigger and better. In my opinion, they're better than those nail gun nails. I couldn't use a nail gun when I was building them cabins, working on them tool cabins, because that nail gun was so heavy. God, they weigh a ton. So I hammered each nail in those things. I hammered them in by hand. And I bought those big old nails to nail those studs together with. They're better than them skinny little old nail gun nails. They're so skinny. You can take them nail gun nails and just bend them. They're just so flimsy. It ain't no wonder houses fly apart. A small tornado can hit a house and the whole thing's just blown apart. They're not put together very good at all. You don't have to be a genius to figure that out. Yeah, the shadows are getting long out there now. The shadows. The neighbors, they had an old broke down They had an old broke down, what you call it, over there. What you call it? Volkswagen over there, and it was pink. It had been painted pink, and the sun had faded it out real bad. And you know how that looks so awful. But that's what the sun does in paint jobs, and it sat over there. No telling how long before we moved over here. Well, recently they had it hauled off, and they got this storage shed. Put stuff into that green storage shed. That's to put stuff in because some of her family has moved in with her since her husband passed away. So they're blessed. They're blessed to have family living around. Their family. They have a lot of family that lives right here in town. You know, that's a blessing. I wish it was like that for me and Paul. Sucks not having family around. Really does. Anyway, well, I'm going to get on off of here. This video's getting long. And I got to go check on that laundry, start getting the sheets put on the beds and stuff. I got to think about trying to take a shower. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.